And I have a question to you because you said in the previous recording that this change, not naming the countries like England and Spain, but you use these Glorian and Sidonians, right?
Mhm.
So, can you please tell a little bit more about it? Because I think this is very similar what George Martin did when he took as an original to his song of Ice and Fire, right? He took the basis was the War of Two Roses, right? But
Yes.
he changed the Yorks and who was there? And
Well, was it the War of the Roses or the Anarchy? I mean, he's drawn on the Wars of the Roses, the Anarchy, which is a few hundred years earlier, and also the French medieval um, kind of civil war. But yes, I think
Yorks and Lancasters. Oh,
York and
this
Lancashire.
was
Yes, yes,
that's
sorry,
why
yes,
there were
yeah.
Starks and Lannisters, right?
Famous for "Now is the winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by the son of York." Yeah, the and by the way, Ian McKellen's movie of Richard III is brilliant, and I recommend it to anybody. Um, um, yeah, the interesting thing there was some people said, why didn't you just make it England and Spain? But it's a world with magic, a kind of, it's not high fantasy, but there is magic in it, and I I felt that to make it historical, then I would drift into being more literary historical, and the magic would have to be a lot more ambiguous. And that wasn't really, there wasn't space for that kind of thing. If I were doing a role-playing game in that setting, maybe I would. And also, when I wrote Dragon Warriors, I used the same thing of the world of Dragon Warriors is kind of like medieval Europe, a map of medieval Europe as it looked, as they would be drawn in medieval times. But I changed the names of places. So France becomes Chobret, and um, Spain is Burgundy, and Germany is Kurland, and so on, because I wanted people to feel we can throw in our kind of medieval imaginary without having to worry about, but what year did such and such a thing happen? So it was just a little way of keeping it entangled with reality, but detached enough that it can drift off and be its own thing as well. That was the idea behind it.
I think this is a good way to avoid such, let's say, historical criticism or over criticism. In
Mhm.
fact, that people are watching the movie and they are saying, "Yeah, but in
Yes.
reality, it was not like this, right?"
Oh,
But you really want
I'm
to tell this
absolutely that.
story, right?
I am absolutely that viewer. If I'm watching something, set in ancient Rome, I'll be saying, yeah, that's in the time of the Republic. That didn't happen. No, I'm the worst kind of viewer for that kind of thing. So yes, it's better to make it slightly fantastical, and then you have a clear field for whatever you want to do.
And this is fully justified in the pirate book because there is a lot of magic there, and a lot of the situation that couldn't be in the real world. So
Yeah.
why do not put some a little bit more fantasy to it, right?
Yes, and Queen Elizabeth becomes the fairy queen that she was in imagination, rather than the, you know, less pleasant real life character. So
I
you
can
can,
believe
in
that.
real life, kings and queens are often very badly behaved people, and but in fantasy they're often really nice and honest, and well, the good ones are. So yeah, I wanted a fantasy princess, not a real life type one there. And it was fun to put in characters like you there's El Drac, which was what the Spanish called Sir Francis Drake, but it reminded me of Dracula, and because it's a fantasy, I can let that stray across. So El Drac, is he Sir Francis Drake or is he Dracula? You're not sure. Um, so yeah, you can have a lot more fun once you start just playing with historical
Yeah.
events.
And also this appearance of the vampires in the Dead Among the Dead Men. It also really reminds me Tim Powers and his stress in her regards, right? Stress of her
Yes.
regards.
Yeah.
This was really great,
Well,
great
vampires
thing.
are perfect for that kind of situation because you need to be invited to come aboard a ship. And of course, a vampire on a raft, if you come up with your ship, can't come aboard until you ask it to come aboard. So it's kind of it perfectly fits the etiquette of being whistled aboard a ship and so on as well. So yeah.